I am Roderick Martin, aka The Symbolizer, TV personality and award-winning podcast host with over 18,700 truth seekers right here on YouTube, 126 countries worldwide for this particular podcast. I want to thank you all for the love and support. I'm going to keep bringing the truth, so get ready because what you're about to hear, you may not believe it. We've always been told that human civilization started around 6,000 years ago in Mesopotamia and gradually evolved into this complex societies that we know today. That's the official story, right? But what if the story isn't just incomplete, it's deliberate lie? You see, there's a book, The Adam and Eve Story, written by Dr. Chan Thomas, which the CIA classified back in the 1966. We're talking about classified, not because it's dangerous pseudoscience like they want you to believe, because it contains the real history of humanity, the one that they don't want us to know. Thomas' book talks about pole shift, cataclysmic events that wiped out civilizations in a matter of hours, leaving survivors to rebuild from rubble. Now, according to him, we're not the first advanced civilization here on Earth, but what if everything we've been told is part of a larger agenda keeping us ignorant? Now, according to a few pages that they did declassify, Thomas said that these pole shifts are cyclical, that they happened before and they're going to happen again. Suddenly, those flood myths in every ancient culture, they don't seem too far-fetched now, do they? So if the truth has been manipulated for this long,
and I'm just going to pause that for just a second to point out to you I have that book. And I have that book because of the visions that I was shown. And I wanted to seek the truth, to know for sure that my visions truly were from God, that they were real. Chan Thomas is not the only one who has written about this. Charles Hapgood has written about this. Einstein wrote about this. Numerous great scientists have written about this. They've studied it extensively. All of the data, all of the facts have been taken into account. A pole shift is upon us because we are in a binary star system. The Bible tells you about Nibiru, Wormwood, the Nemesis, the Destroyer, as do many, many other cultures. Please pay attention.
who's really pulling the strings here? The government, the media, the scientific community, they all benefit by maintaining the illusion of control and also by ensuring that we stay complacent, unprepared, and most importantly, oblivious. So I want you to think about it for a moment. If the people knew that the world that we know today could be obliterated overnight, wouldn't that undermine, well, I don't know, but every power structure in place? Therefore, if we don't start asking the tough questions, and if we don't pull back the curtains and see who's behind it all, then we'll never be ready for what's coming. This is just the beginning. Now, the real question is, are you ready to find out what they're hiding? Because the stakes are higher than what you think. We've all heard about government cover-ups, have we? UFOs, secret programs, classified files. But what if this just in some routine misinformation or misdirection? What if the Adam and Eve story, that dusty old book classified by CIA in 1966, isn't just a collection of pseudoscientific ramblings, but the key to understanding a more deeper, more orchestrated deception led by the very institution we're told to trust? Why did they even bother to classify it at all? And why even now, after declassifying it, its key parts of it still missing or what they call sanitized? Here's where it gets interesting. See, the theory of pole shift, global.
And I just want to add, it's not just key parts of it. It's like some 250 pages worth are missing. And there's a reason for that.
Floods and mass extinction events wiping out advanced civilization. It's not as crazy as they have you to think. So why haven't anyone dared to seriously question this? I mean, look around you. Those in power, the ones that's controlling the narrative, have spent decades burying inconvenient facts. Now take Dr. Thomas, for instance. His book, is classified by the CIA, and has suddenly his ideas are dismissed as pseudoscience. Coincidence? Just maybe challenging the status quo's put a big target on your back. Look how mainstream science handles alternative theories. They ridicule and they dismissal everything. Doesn't that feel a little coordinated? You think that's an accident? Therefore, it's time to push back. The deeper we dig, the more we uncover their hidden agendas. The CIA didn't classify this book just to protect us from bad science. They classified it because it threatened the delicate house of cards that they built. This isn't just a theory anymore. It's becoming reality. And if the pole shifts are real, if ancient civilizations was wiped out in an instance, what does that mean for us and for everything we think we know? This changes everything. And the fight for the truth begins now. And this is only the beginning. We thought this was just about a classified book, some absurd conspiracy from the 60s locked away for decades. But this isn't just about what we see on the surface. Manipulation goes much deeper than we ever imagined. Look how the media immediately dismissed Dr. Chance Thomas's work after the CIA classified. They didn't even investigate the claims. They just labeled it and moved on. Now, was this convenient? I don't know. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because when the government, the media, and even the scientific establishment work all in unison to suppress information, you gotta wonder, what are they so desperate trying to hide? They've done it before. Remember, the continental drift was pseudoscience, right? Now it's an accepted fact. But you got to ask yourself, how many of these truths have been buried, mocked, erased entirely because they didn't fit the narrative? Thomas wasn't just talking about ordinary catastrophes. He was talking about a cyclical global cataclysm, pole shift that happened in a single day, turning advanced civilization to dust, plunging us back into the Stone Age. Now I want you to think about this for a second. If that's true, then every history book, every scientific fact, every institution that claims to know our origins of civilization is flat out wrong. So what's really going on here? It's bigger than one book, one theory. They're infiltrated every layer of society, and their influence stretches further than anyone is willing to admit. Governments are backed by corporate interests, control the media, dictating the information which is fed to the public. Scientists, they're supposed to be keepers of truth, are funded by these same corporations, and you think they're going to bite the hands that feed them? No. They're going to protect the status quo at all costs. And those in power benefit from our ignorance. And because we know the truth, the entire structure of society would collapse. The writing is on the wall, if you dare to look closely. The public, they're kept in the dark, left to believe the lies that keep them docile and compliant. This isn't about protecting us from fear, it's about control. Think about it. If people knew that we were on the edge of another global cataclysm, would they even go on living their lives like nothing is wrong? Would they trust the government to save them when the time comes? No. Mass panic would ensue, and those in power, they can't afford that. Therefore, the truth isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. And the deeper we dig, the more we see that they have orchestrated everything from behind the curtains. Now, to connect.
I just want you to look at that real quick. Okay. I want you to look at this real quick. I want you to study those symbols, those words that are on your screen. This one here in the middle actually plays a very big role in the control factor, even though there's a lot of people that want to consider that pseudoscience.
Connections are everywhere. Scientific discovery swept under the rug. Historical anomalies ignored. An ancient civilization like Atlantis reduced to a myth. They want you to believe that this all is a fantasy, and admitting that it's real would mean that admitting that everything they said, all the centuries they have lied to us. And let's face it, the web of control is so deeply embedded that even questioning it puts you on the fringe of society. Reality is manipulated. Perception is controlled. We're not just talking about the government covering up a disaster. We're talking about the entire framework of reality being shaped by those in power to keep us blind to what's really happening. Why else would they work so hard to suppress the simple book? It's not just because they're afraid of the truth coming out. It is because they know the truth will tear the world apart. Therefore, if we don't continue digging, and if we don't start questioning the narrative and pushing back, we'll never uncover what they're truly hiding. This is bigger than we imagine. The clock is ticking, and we're running out of time. What happens next? It could change everything. We thought this was just about the government cover-ups and the media manipulation, right? But what if the conspiracy was bigger than we can ever imagine? What if the real power isn't just the CIA, the government, or the media? What if they're just pawns in a much larger game? Here's the kicker. Dr. Chan Thomas wasn't just talking about pole shift buried within his book. He hints at something even more shocking, that the true architects of this agenda is far older than any government. Ancient powers, forces that shaped history for thousands of years. Think about it. If everything we're being told, from the origins of civilization to the nature of reality itself, is part of a bigger plan, one that's been unfolding for millennia, hidden in plain sight, these forces aren't just influencing governments, but they're influencing science, culture, and even how we perceive time. Now, what if they've done this before? So it turns out that the real architects in this agenda are more powerful, more deeply embedded into the systems than we can ever imagine. This isn't just about some conspiracy. It's an orchestrated effort to control everything, every cataclysm, every rise and fall of civilization, all a part of the cycle that's been engineered to keep us in the dark. They control not only what we know, but what we're allowed to discover. We've been looking in all the wrong places. The real power isn't just in the hands of politicians or media moguls. It's in the hand of ancient elite forces that transcends governments and corporations. They're manipulated history to suit their agenda by keeping us trapped in this loop of ignorance and compliance. The powers that be have a script for us, but it's time that we rewrite it. What happens next will expose the truth in ways that have never been seen before. The fight for the truth is only the beginning, and the stakes have never been higher.
And that is actually where I come in, because I can teach you how to take back your power. And it isn't too late to learn that. It's not too late. Yes, it's already begun, but it isn't over yet. And it isn't written in stone. This is a war.
We've been building to this moment,
evil.
peeling back the layers after layers, and now the truth stands right here before us. The truth isn't just inconvenient, it's undeniable. Everything we thought we knew, our history, our science, our reality, has been manipulated from the very start. It's not just a matter of classified documents or forgotten books. It's about systematic control, embedded so deeply that we barely notice it. The evidence? It's been right here in plain sight, buried under centuries of carefully crafted deception. Undeniable proof buried beneath layers of manipulation, conspiracy, and suppression. Think about the pole shift. Think about how ancient civilizations was wiped out. Think about the cyclical nature of these global cataclysms. They knew, they always knew. So this is how they've done it, controlling the narrative, reshaping history, and silencing anyone who dares to challenge the official story. Take a look how seamlessly it's all connected. Governments fund the research that supports their version of event. The media spins the story to kind of keep us complacent. The corporation profit from our ignorance and selling us an illusion of progress, while the real power hides in the shadows, pulling the strings. Every flood myth, every ancient monument, every unexplainable artifact explained away or dismissed like it's folklore, all to keep us in the dark. They've shaped our society, our politics, and our worldview built on lies designed to keep the truth locked away. And we bought it, didn't we? We accepted the comfortable narrative, the one that says humanity has always marched forward, progressing steadily from the Stone Age to the modern world. We can no longer ignore this. This is the moment of truth. The real architects of this deception, the ones operating behind the governments, the media and corporations, ancient powers, wealthy elites, families like the Astors, they're not just part of history, they've rewritten it. They ensure that every rise and fall of civilization has been orchestrated to serve their agenda. Every time the world comes close to a collapse, they're ready. They're standing in the helm, guiding us blindly into the next cycle of destruction and rebirth. Expose the lies, reveal the truth. The stakes.
And this is exactly why I say they are not creating this catastrophe. They're just there to capitalize on it.
Has never been higher because now we know everything that they've kept hidden, everything that's silent, it all leads here. This isn't just about ancient cataclysms or forgotten history. This is again about control. And they're just not fighting to keep the truth buried. They're fighting to maintain their grip on power as the truth threatens to tear it apart. Everything is at stake now. This isn't just a conspiracy theory. This is reality. And the future depends on how we respond to this revelation. The question is, will you continue to live under the shadows, or will you finally stand up and expose them for what they really are? The truth is out, and now those in power are a little scrambling. The media, they're working overtime slapping conspiracy theory labels on everything that challenged the precious narrative. Every outlet is pushing the same points, trying to discredit and trying to divert. But the cracks are showing. The government's throwing out distractions left and right, new crises, new scandals, anything to pull attention away from what's really happening. Yet, despite all of this, their grip on the story is slipping, and you can see the panic setting in. So what happens now? Their system is built on lies and manipulation. It's starting to collapse. The truth is spreading faster than they can contain it, and they know it. Therefore, the fight is far from over. And as the control unravels, they will grow even more desperate, resorting to deeper lies, bigger distractions, and more aggressive tactics. If we let our guard down now, they'll find a new way to deceive and manipulate and to regain control. Villages is everything, and we can't afford to stop here. And if you're tired of being fed the lies, it's time to act. Hit that subscribe button and join the community that refuses to back down. Share this video with everyone you know, friends and family, anyone that's still in the dark. Help them see what's really going on. This isn't just another conspiracy video. This is a movement. The more eyes on this, the harder it becomes for them to bury the truth. And if you want to show where you stand, I want you to visit the store, truthversusauthority.store, and grab the gear that tells the world that you are awake. This isn't just merchandise, it's a statement, and you will also support the Truth versus Authority community. Fight for the truth isn't just ours, it's yours too. So subscribe, share, and be the reason someone wakes up to the lies that they've been told. The truth won't be silenced, and neither will we. Search for Roderick Martin. Come over to the YouTube channel and join the 18,700 truth seekers so we can keep getting this information out. I want to thank everybody who's got your copy of the Book of Sacred Secrets. I've been getting incredible reviews on people and how this has been helping people today. This is something that you must have in your arsenal. This book is going to be life-changing for you. It's a downloadable copy, so you'll be able to print it up, print a sheet up, or whatever you want. Study it, take it to work, give it to someone. It may be some in particular information, but this is something that you need in your arsenal. Go to the website. The link is right here in the description. It's also in the video as well. You've got to get your copy of the Book of Sacred Secrets. And once again, it supports the community. True information is from the cosmos, from infinite consciousness that you need to learn and you need to have in your arsenal. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. Support the channel, and I look to see you on the next video. And don't forget, again, search for Roderick Martin. Come over to the YouTube channel and join the 18,700 truth seekers so we can keep getting this information out. Thank you.
All right. And also, If you would like to take a course or join a membership, I have a very, very inexpensive option for you versus buying someone's book. And I have no clue how much his book costs. And by all means, if you want it, go buy it. And if you want to take a course and learn with me, I will teach you how to reclaim your power. Now, there's one more video I want to share with you. Because like I said, I watched the data. And I want to show you the data so that you know that this is real. So this is a look at where our magnetic North Pole is moving to and how fast it's moving. This is Maverick Star Reloaded.
Hi, very good morning and warm welcome. It's Dean from Avstar. As promised, the latest magnetic pole position has been done for you. We've got the SD card out this morning. And
now I want you to listen closely because he only has 3 pins here. He's not showing the whole trail of movement right now. This is from August 13th, September 3rd, and then September 21st. Listen to how quickly it has moved.
As you can probably see there very faintly, the distance covered is 3.1 miles. For those of you that are tracking it on your own Google Maps,
that's from one
you might
pin
be
to the other.
interested in the following longitude and latitude.
From one pin to the other, in less than a month, it has moved 3.1 miles. That's unprecedented, unless it's imminent that we have a pole shift.
They are as follows: 81 degrees, 20 hours, 24 minutes, 40 seconds north, by the longitude 111 degrees, 44 hours, 31 minutes, 41 seconds east. You know, for a lot of people, the migrating magnetic pole is not a really big deal. And that's because the majority of people that, you know, are of the understanding that the poles are migrating on our planet believe that the only thing it's going to affect is a compass and maybe navigation. But it'll do a lot more than affect compasses and simple navigation by compass, because it will in fact.
It will, in fact. And let me just find it while we're talking, and I'll show you exactly how important that is to understand, because it has our complete jet stream going nuts at this moment because of our shields being down. And here's what I know, everybody. Here's what I know. This is what I was shown in the vision. And it was a repeated vision. It wasn't just one time. This vision that I was shown was of the binary star, the planets that it brings with it, comets, asteroids, etc., as well as the sun will have a micronova burst that then in turn, and that will happen because of the binary star being in its proximity, and they, you know, they have their whole little war thing that they do with each other. And I was shown 2 options of the cataclysms that will take place. One is lesser than the other, very similar to the Hopi prophecies and all of that. Many people are aware now that the solar flash is about to happen. I'm trying to scroll through here and locate that image of the jet stream that I want you to see, because this is actually being created from our shields being down. The shields are down because of the the solar spots, you know, the my mind went blank. The solar flares that are now hitting the earth, causing the shields to go down. Now, a lot of you may be asking, what would be the point in a course with me where I do have a PDF and a website full of information of sacred geometry, and how to utilize the energies from those things, how to create a shield around yourself, around your people, around your house, around the whole planet, etc. There are several things that we can do to actually assist in lessening this, is the point. That's the point of learning those things. Because if you are in your full knowledge and your full ability of your power, your God-given power, then you can actually help to stop this in so many ways and protect your family. Here it is. I finally found the picture that I was looking for. Okay, let me do a screen share real quick so you can see this, because this is really intense, and this is being created. See how nuts it is? There's no rhyme or rhythm to this jet stream. It's just all over the place. And that's because our magnetic center is flatlining and then coming back online from the shields of the planet being down. And it's really messing with everything, which then in turn creates all of the cataclysms that are taking place, the flooding, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the tsunamis, the earthquakes, the mudslides, right? Like this is being caused because of all these things that are culminating now all together. So it's important for us to understand the science and the data in order to also understand what's happening. My job, my mission is to show you that there is another way. And the only reason there's a price tag on it, which is a very, very small price tag, is because money is energy. And if you're not willing to spend the money, then you're not truly willing to learn this. It's really that simple. I've learned that the hard way, and I've been very poor. So I also know that there are those who just simply cannot afford it. And if you want to learn and you simply truly cannot afford it, email me and we will talk. Because this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is reality. This is truth about who we are and what's happening with our planet. And I want you to be prepared, and I want you to feel empowered. And in order for you to feel empowered and prepared, you have to truly know thyself, just like Jesus said in the Bible. And I'm not a Bible thumper, but I am a Jesus believer, and I believe in God. And I'm here to tell you that when Jesus said to his 12 disciples, you too can go forth and do the same great works as me and more, he wasn't just saying it to 12 disciples. He was trying to say that to the whole world. Through many of his sermons, he was trying to tell you, we have the power to turn over the tabernacle tables. We have the power to wield our sword of truth and righteousness. You just don't know how to use those tools because you were never taught. I can teach you. Again, with a PDF, with very descriptive imagery and wording, as well as a website with very descriptive imagery and wording to help you connect the dots, to help you link yourself back to God, back to self, back to each other. We can do this together. We can change the world, literally. And it's so much simpler than many people want it to seem like. I want to show you one more short clip. Oh my goodness. Just bounced. One more small clip. So first we have a river that is forming in Saudi Arabia. This is in the desert, guys. A river is forming in the desert. Okay. Now this is actually from, I think, 2 years ago. If I remember correctly, it was from 2 years ago. Now, look at the next one, because this was prophesied in the Bible.
For our last story tonight, let's talk about the land where time seems to stand still, the land with a relentless sun and rippling sand. I'm talking about the Sahara Desert. It spans across North Africa. It's the largest hot desert in the world, one of the driest regions on Earth, but maybe not so much anymore. The Sahara is blooming with life. NASA has released satellite images. They capture the desert's green shift, with plant life popping up everywhere, adding color to the typically arid land. Why is this happening? Is it a cause for celebration or a sign of devastation? Our next report tells you.
This is the Sahara Desert. It spans across North Africa with an area of more than 9 million square kilometers. It is the largest hot desert in the world. But for scientists, the Sahara is like a large open-air museum, where the shifting sands and the weathering bring up ancient landscapes from a bygone era. Did you know that thousands of years ago, the Sahara was nothing like it is today? It was home to lush greenery, packed with lakes and rivers, even forests. So the Sahara is an immense data bank. It can tell us what climate change can do to a region, how it can affect landscapes and civilizations, how it can turn a savanna brimming with life into one of the hottest and driest places on Earth. Because today, we are witnessing this shift once again. But this time, climate change is taking the Sahara back to its roots. NASA has released satellite images of the desert. They show a dramatic transformation. The Sahara is shifting green. You can see the influx of color from space. Over the past few months, the region has witnessed heavy rainfall, so plants are growing across the desert, especially in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. These are generally treeless landscapes. They rarely receive any rain. But now, green shoots are sprouting up across these regions. Now, considering the region's history, this is not completely unusual. The Sahara looks like a desert, but when a deluge of rain pours in, everything starts greening quickly. Plant life starts to sprout. Nature responds readily. What's unusual is the rate at which this is happening. The flora may look pretty, but this is a devastating sign of the things to come. Climate change is changing the tracks of storms. In Africa, it has moved the storm system northward. So rainfall in the region has become stronger and more frequent. Within a matter of days, North Africa received a year's worth of rainfall. So typically dry areas like Niger, Chad, Sudan, Libya and Egypt have received more than 400% of their typical rainfall since July. Now there is catastrophic flooding. About 4 million people have been severely impacted, and the Sahara Desert is about 6 times wetter than it should be. Meanwhile, because the storms have shifted, some countries that should be getting more rainfall, like Nigeria and Cameroon, are getting fewer rains. They received between 50 to 80% of their typical rainfall since July. Scientists say this is only the beginning. Climate change is disrupting seasons, making natural disasters worse, and inviting major consequences. So, while the Sahara looks fascinating with its newfound greenery, this is no cause for celebration.
So you see, our entire globe is changing. Our seasons are changing. The types of animals and insects that we have here where I live are changing. We have armadillo in Indiana now. We have rare praying mantis called orchid praying mantis. We have 5 kinds of hummingbirds now. There are animals and plant species that are migrating here that are typically in a tropical or subtropical landscape environment. So what does that tell you about what Indiana will look like in another year or 5 years or 10 years or 50 years? It's changing. And the only species on this planet that isn't taking note of that in a real way are humans. The rest of the animal kingdom is still in tune with nature. It's listening. I want you to listen. I want you to wake up. I want you to see that it's not too late. This is only the beginning. There is still time. Time for real change. And it starts within us. I can show you how. Please contact me. Let me help you help yourself and the people you love and the planet that we all love. I'll see you again soon.